Hello there, this is L24 News. I'm Abdurrahman Kashona to the headlines. Ghislaine Maxwell has been found guilty of recruiting and trafficking young girls to be sexually abused by the Latin American financier Jeffrey Epstein. UK COVID cases soared to a new daily record of 183,037. France, Italy and Greece also reported a new record daily high as the World Health Organization warned of COVID tsunami. Biden and Putin to speak out on a Thursday amid Ukraine tensions as Washington crafts a common response to Russia's military buildup on the Ukrainian border with European allies. Hello again and welcome. Those were today's headlines. Ghislaine Maxwell, or as it is said in French, Ghislaine, was found guilty by the U.S. jury on Wednesday of helping the late financier Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse teenager girls. Juror deliberated for 5 full days before finding the Maxwell guilty on 5 of 6 counts, including the most serious charge of sex trafficking of minors, which carries a sentence of 14 years in prison. Zarfurjani.
U.S. jury convicted British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell is of grooming minors for sexual abuse at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell was found guilty of 5 of the 6 federal counts related to Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Maxwell pleaded not guilty to the charges stemming from her interactions with 4 teenage girls from 1994 to 2004. Bobby Sternheim, part of Maxwell's defense team, confirmed Maxwell's innocence.
We firmly believe in Ghislaine's innocence. Obviously, we are very disappointed with the verdict. We have already started working on the appeal, and we are confident that she will be vindicated. Everyone, be healthy. Have a happy New Year.
The defense had insisted Maxwell was a victim of a vindictive prosecution devised to deliver justice because Epstein died by suicide while awaiting trial in 2019. However, U.S. prosecutors argued Maxwell was a dangerous predator who recruited and groomed teenage girls for Epstein.
I think this is a victory for all young children, boys, girls, women, and men who are victims of abusers like this. It will give them the needed push to step forward and to speak their truth and to hopefully get justice like these young girls have with respect to Miss Maxwell.
Maxwell, who was arrested by U.S. authorities in July 2020, has remained behind bars after being denied bail.
The Czech Republic has started disposing of 80,000 lion hens after the country reported an outbreak of bird flu of the H5N1 type at the poultry farm last week. Veterinarians estimate that they will cull the rest of the poultry and destroy around 1 million eggs across the border in Slovenia. On outbreak of the highly pathogenic, the H5N1 bird flu virus at the small poultry farm was also reported, the Slovenian Food Safety and Veterinarian Service Agency announced. In China, many residents of the northern city of Xi'an are running out of food as the city enters its 8th day of lockdown in efforts to contain the latest cluster of COVID-19 cases. 156 new locally transmitted cases reported nationwide on Wednesday, up from 151 days earlier. More with Nabil Khazini.
As new COVID-19 infections persisted, residents in the Chinese city Xi'an have been ordered to stay in their homes. Xi'an, which is home to 13 million people, is in a lockdown since last Monday. Only certified essential workers are allowed to head out for work, and only one member of each house is allowed out every 2 days to get food. Many residents are unable to leave their residential compounds and are relying on deliveries of necessities. Xi'an authorities responded by announcing a citywide campaign to deliver groceries to residents stuck in their homes. Residents who want to travel must apply for special permission to leave the city. Xi'an reported 151 infections with confirmed symptoms. Nearly all of the 152 cases in China bringing the total number of local Xi'an cases to nearly 1,000 during this month. No cases of the Omicron variant have been announced in the city so far. The imposed tough curbs come in line with Beijing's policy of zero COVID and to immediately contain outbreaks as they appear. The lockdown is the most severe in China in almost a year. The Beijing's Winter Olympics start on February, and leaders in China promised safe games where spectators will be able to attend one of the most famous sports events in the world.
The Public Prosecutor's Office reported Wednesday that Dutch customs intercepted more than 1.6 tons of cocaine disguised in shipments of bananas, coca beans, and also the cement in Rotterdam Harbour. The illicit pharmaceuticals believe that worth 127 million euros, or let me say $143 million, were hidden in 3 containers that arrived at Europe's busiest port. In more countries, coronavirus cases have reached record high due to the rapid spread of the Omicron variant. According to a record, the number of daily new COVID cases has surpassed 1 million for the first time since the infections were first reported 2 years ago. The World Health Organization has warned that the Omicron variant and the Delta variant also of COVID-19 could cause a tsunami of cases, putting immense pressure on the healthcare systems. President Biden will hold a phone call with his counterpart Putin to discuss many topics, including diplomatic engagements and talks. The U.S. government is still coordinating and cooperating with European allies in response to Russia's military buildup in Ukraine borders. And Ukraine government asked for U.S. military help to dissolve Russian, but the request is still pending. Kim Jong-un, North Korean leader, celebrated a decade of ruling in his country after they took power in 2011, following the death of the father Kim Jong. Kim Jong held a key ruling party meeting. More with Usama Ayadi.
Kim Jong-un has ruled North Korea for over 10 years with an iron grip. December 2021 marked the 10th year for him in North Korea as a leader following the death of his father, Kim Jong-il. North Korean government saw a key ruling party meeting, a forum that the ruler always used to make policy announcements in the presence of the highest decision-making bodies. Kim Jong-un, as a commander-in-chief of North Korea's armed forces, has amped up the country's weapons program. On his watch, the North has tested 4 nuclear warheads and in 2017 a missile capable of reaching the United States. His meeting with the former President Trump in 2018 and 2019 failed to kickstart negotiations on denuclearization in return for sanction relief. And at the annual ruling party Congress earlier this year, Kim said the U.S. remains North Korea's biggest enemy, but his other enemy is the coronavirus pandemic. Kim has sealed the country's borders for the second time in bid to keep COVID-19 out, which means no trade and no aid, not even donated vaccine doses. Kim Jong-un marked the end of his first decade in power, armed to the teeth, but more isolated than ever, as he tried to battle a killer virus in one of the world's poorest countries. He's no closer to what he really wants, which is relief from devastating sanctions and normal relations with the rest of the world.
After calls from aid organization, Indonesia decided to allow boats carrying Rohingya refugees, which was standard to see the dock in local port. An official and Indonesia chief security minister said that this country government decided in the name of humanity to give refuge to Rohingya refugees currently afloat on a boat near the Indonesian territory. Sudanese political crisis is still witnessing a succession of events which does not serve the country's security and stability. Sudanese authorities have shut down internet and mobile services, as well as deploying large numbers of security forces ahead of the 11th day of big protests since the military coup in the country. Usama Ayadi.
Sudanese police and parliamentary security forces were deployed across Khartoum as pro-democracy protesters prepared to hold fresh protests. Authorities have shut down internet and phone services as protests mark the 11th day of big demonstrations since the October 25th coup. Army, police and parliamentary patrols crisscrossed the capital's streets on Thursday, while shipping containers blocked the Nile bridges that connected with its northern suburbs and the twin city Omdurman. In addition to an army checkpoint, as an armored vehicle was seen stationed at one of the bridges that remained open. The demonstrations have demanded that the military stay out of any government role during a transition to free elections. As a reminder, the bridges were blocked off during the last protest on December 25th, when tens of thousands took to the street. Protesters opposed the military rule reached near the presidential palace that day, despite the extensive deployment of tear gas and a communication blackout. The Central Committee of Sudanese Doctors said more than 200 people were injured during that protest, with 6 caused by live bullets. At least 48 people have been killed by security forces since pro-democracy activists launched a campaign of street demonstrations against the coup, according to the Doctors Committee.
The first edition of Women's International Rally called Mediterranean Mermaid started today, the 30th of December. The race started from Algiers with participation of 38 women of different ages and from many Algerian states, as well as participants from the broader Palestinian country. Miriam Ziani.
The rally was organized by the National Association for the Promotion and Development of Women's Sports and will take place in Algiers, Tiaret, El Biad and Mascara from the 30th December to the 2nd of January.
We are going to start an international female irregularity rally from Algiers to Tiaret, Tiaret to El Biad, Brezina to Mascara to Algiers. This is a regularity rally, which means that we have to respect the traffic code. There will be calculations to prepare and an itinerary to respect. We will go and come back safe with God willing.
A regularity rally or time speed distance rally is a type of motorsports rally with the objective of driving each part of the race in a specified time at a specified average speed. Unlike what most people think, this type of rally does not require speed, but rather regularity and precision.
I'm a fan of motorsports and have participated in many rallies. It's a regularity rally, which means no speed. Not like what others think, it's just to drive at a specific speed, not exceeding 50 or 60 kilometers per hour.
In regularity rallies, teams are usually made up of an amateur driver and a navigator. This edition was exclusively organized for women participants who will drive from Algiers to Tiaret and stop for a tourist visit as a first step. Then on the next day, the Mediterranean mermaids will drive away from Tiaret to El Biad and go for another tourist visit. As a third step, they will go from El Biad to Mascara and will finally conclude the edition with an honoring ceremony for winners. The goal of this type of rally is to get as close as possible to an ideal time and to promote national tourism. But this edition was marked by the exclusive participation of women.
That's all what we have for now. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Good night.